Right, I want us to get into that discussion, of course, just focusing on the 2023 KCSE exam results that were announced yesterday by CS for Education, that is Ezekiel Machogu. And in studio, on my immediate left, I have Dr. Edwin Ogada. He is an education analyst. He's also joined by Akelo Misori, who is the Secretary General for KUPPET. Thank you both for making time.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Looking at the dailies today, the newspapers is all about the results from the KCSE examination, that is the 2023. Now, out of the 899,453 students, 1,216 scored A's. Well, that's a slight improvement from what we had seen in 2022. So before we dive deeper into this conversation, what are your thoughts on the results that were announced yesterday? Let's start with you, Dr. Edwin.
Thank you so much, Fatia, for having me in the show. My name is Dr. Ogada, as you've rightly mentioned. Apart from analyzing matters of education, I'm also a teacher at Alliance High School. And first is to congratulate our candidates and our teachers and our parents for the job well done. The results are out. The celebrations are everywhere. And of course, we can't miss cases of a few, showing dissension over the results or their grief, but here they are, and we really want to thank God for the release that we saw yesterday. If you go by what the minister reported yesterday with the number of A's, in 2022 we had 1,146 A's in the country, and this year we have 1,216. 1,216. That's a slight improvement of about 70. But we are so much used to looking at the A grades, but a flip of the same coin, the number of E's actually shot so much high, because from the data that I have, in 2021 we had about 46,000 E's in the country. 2022, there were about 30,000, and now this year we have about 48,000. So there's a lot to talk about the grades that were released yesterday as far as the results for the KCSE 2023 are concerned.
Right, thank you.
Thank you so much. While it is important that the results were released, and we congratulate those candidates who sat the KCSE 2023. Right. We always celebrate grade A's, but we don't always mind ourselves about what is wrong or what is up with the critical mass. The critical mass of nearly half the number of those candidates who sat the exams got C minus grades and below. That is really not necessarily looking at the grade E per se, because when you look at the 100% transition, it tells volumes that most of these candidates who got grade E are likely to be found in the sub-county schools, which are poorly resourced. They have got no teachers to attend to them, yet their entry point at Form 1 was also characterized by very low entry grades. So there was no value added to them because of the circumstances and the environment in which learning is taking place. But so far, the marginal increase in grade A's should not be celebrated, because even the manner in which the grading system was adopted also encouraged candidates to score better, to get the grades which are there. So in essence, the analysis proved that there is a negative. It is skewed towards the poor performance, and therefore the curve is not normal, in my view.
Well, why do you think that's the case, apart from the poor resources that you're talking about, especially like in counties? Of course, they've been given a certain amount of money, counties, when it comes to the education sector. Why do you think up until now that is an issue that is affecting the counties?
I don't think the county schools and sub-county schools are resourced enough to produce the results desired. This is where the critical mass of our candidates are. The national schools account for nearly 5% of all the students who sit the exams. And their results are natural. We least expect them. Like my brother who comes from Alliance, we don't expect Alliance to produce a grade E. I don't know whether you had a grade E.
Did you?
No.
There's likelihood that there's no grade E.
Sure.
Because it's the entry point of most of the students admitted at Alliance is that they are supposed to be all grade A's.
Right.
In fact, their mean grade should be about 11.8. If they don't produce that mean grade, then it means that Dr. Gada should tell us why this one is not so. Because they also have the required number of teachers, the required number of laboratories, and the environment is just nice for learning. But granted, we have teachers' commitment to produce the best from the worst environment and circumstances. And that's why the sub-county schools and county schools cannot be categorized with the national schools. But going by the results, you'll realize that they also made it. And the results which has come from those schools can really reflect that the teachers have really worked. Even against very difficult circumstances.
Right, interesting. You want to add something?
Let me respond to what he has said. First, when the minister spoke yesterday, there's a statement that he made, though he didn't give it so much of an emphasis, as per the performance of the sub-county schools, and was quite excited that if they were to compare the most improved schools, category of schools that improved, then he was quite quick to point out that those schools down there, the so-called sub-county schools, had quite registered some good improvement. And actually, he made a statement that is almost similar to what the Secretary General said, that it's not a must that you make it to the alliances of this world for you to be able to make an end out of it.
Right.
And, that's a big debate, because I know it's assumed Alliance High School, we have the resources, we get the grade A.
Is it an assumption or is the reality?
It could be, it depends on how you compare. Because we could also say that the resources that we have, based on the expectation that could be the society has on us, could really not be sufficient, because you can never say that we have the sufficient resources that we need, because even in terms of staff, we can't say that we are fully loaded. Like myself, I teach 28 lessons in a week.
Right.
That's comparable to maybe what other teachers teach somewhere. Some people maybe might think that at Alliance High School we are so much staffed that we do like 14 lessons or less. I do 28. Even if I was to show you my timetable, that's quite a big load. And then also, don't forget that there's this hullabaloo in the country that all parents, all pupils, their end wants to be at Alliance. All of them want to end at Alliance. And therefore, you find that people would use all crooks, all means to get their way into the school. That would also take us to the debate of, the cheating that we have in the exam. At primary, they would have all manner of theatrics done for the students to score those 400 marks. They come to Alliance when in the actual sense, these pupils could be maybe way below the 400s that they get. And when they come, don't be surprised that from the same alliances, students get out with grades that cannot take them to the university. So it's a debate that we can have the whole day.
Do you agree with him?
I do agree partially with him.
Yeah.
But let me go back to the situation which obtains in our sub-county schools. There are some schools which have never seen a laboratory. They are seeing the science project, practical exams for the first time with equipment, because the school is compelled to buy for purposes of exams. But they have never seen a test tube, they have never seen a pipette, therefore if it causes them to do what we call titration, it cannot happen. And therefore they are seeing it for the first time. That one, it does not happen at his school.
That is true.
That does not happen at his school. So we have got real challenges. I know of schools in the sub-county which have never seen a physics teacher, and yet they are enrolled to do physics.
True.
They have never seen a chemistry teacher, yes, they are enrolled to do chemistry.
True.
They are, for 4 years, no TSC teacher has been posted to teach mathematics. These are key subjects for the performance and for the grading system. So in my view, I think we need to go beyond the analyzing what the results are and ask even the Teacher Service Commission that have they rationalized the staffing so that there is equality or equity in the distribution of teachers according to the subject distribution in our schools. That is when we can have what we call comparable results. But in the circumstance, let us do with what we have. And therefore, expecting the teachers to produce the best out of nothing may not be possible.
I agree.
But our teachers are really hardworking.
The teachers are doing their part.
In fact, one point which he has said, which is very critical to be mentioned, that the over-reliance on the alliances of this country, the Mangus and the Stares, to admit only students with top marks from each sub-county is a real fallacy. And therefore, when we adopted what we call 100% transition, we could have just said that those students who come from around Alliance and the scholars, this will just walk in and learn and come back. So that is what would give us the objective criteria of whether these our schools are performing according to the resources they have. But once it is dependent on just one stop exam, people do whole groups and groups to get the 416 marks to get to Alliance. And therefore, when such a student who is supposed just to get 290 got 416 and lands in Alliance, that one they can never get a grade B minus.
Do you think sometimes that is pressure that's actually put on the student themselves? For instance, if that student is just capable of getting those particular marks, but now is put into Alliance because they want that student to get the top marks, do you think there is, like you called it, a fallacy around these particular schools?
It is basically the expectation of the society. It is about exams. We have made exams so important. Remember, when exams are being done, it is a multi-agency of the whole country. When Mr. Gada is teaching Form 1, Form 2, there is no police officer around. But when an exam of just 2.5 hours is being done, there is a supervisor, there is an invigilator, there is also a person with a gun around, walking around looking at this exam. It is based on one-stop exam. Yes.
Right, let's talk about just the trends that we have seen, for instance, even with subjects. So a subject like maths, for instance, learners have been improving in mathematics. Are there any specific trends that you've seen compared to the 2022 KCSE results, Dr. Ogada?
Yeah, true. If just allow me, Fatia, to take you to, there's something that I just saw
on the newspaper.
On the newspaper, on page 10 of the Standard newspaper. The headline there posts, students post better scores in mathematics. I know that headline is quite glaring for the first time.
For the first time, exactly.
That is serious.
Is that not the case?
No, you know, it is based on what we have seen, the results which we have seen. So we cannot say that it is strange. But now, Mr. Gadas will tell us that what actually happened in the 2023 exams, that maths became easier to post better results. The one thing is that over the years, from my experience, is that teachers have continuously tried to improve in mathematics. In fact, there are schools in Kenya which have maths contests.
Yes.
And I think even Alliance has
maths
contest.
True. Yeah, that's true.
St. Patrick's Return of Rift Valley used to have maths contest. So people travel, students get experiences of how other students do. So that one may make mathematics to be very popular. And you know, mathematics is also very critical in the life of a grade of a student.
For sure.
If you don't have maths like me, then you don't do the right course.
Right.
And also maybe to add.
Okay.
If I would go by this headline, though I needed to have my statistics, that's why you saw me pause.
Yeah.
Because I needed to maybe substantiate this with serious statistics. But if I was to say that there's this improvement, it could be attributed to quite a number of things. Okay. Maybe this perception that the subject has been poorly performed over time. Or the students have had an attitude that it's a difficult, it's a hard subject. Yes. And therefore, there could have been a possibility that a lot of effort has been put to destigmatize that mentality that this is a difficult subject. Because if you also look at on the other flip side, subjects that are perceived to be quite easy, perceived. You know, there we call them, people out there call them booster subjects. Yes. So you find a parent telling a student, oh, CRE is a booster subject. History is a booster. I used to get history 90s in all my life in high school. Right. And therefore you find that the moment it's perceived as a booster, there is not that so much focus on it. And then those that are perceived to be quite difficult, quite hard, the sciences and the mathematics, you know, the languages, and then there's a lot of effort that is put in terms of having the grades to be uplifted. So maybe to be fair to the mathematics teachers and to the candidates, to congratulate them for the good work, for the lot of work that they put in getting such good results. Because even in our school, they have posted quite a big positive deviation in their results.
Okay, I think there's a lot to talk about, but I want us to just take a short commercial break now here on News Center. But when we return, still the conversation is just on the analysis of the KCSE 2023 results. So stay with us. Okay, so we still
KTN News. Get the whole story.
Tasnia ya wanahabari nchini Kenya ni sekta ambayo inayokuwa kwa kasi ambayo inakuwa na ushindani wa kila aina kila siku.
Lipo, natumai ulikuwa na siku njema. Leo ni Jumatano, bila shaka ukimwona.
Mimi ni Ali Manzu na hapa KTN News bila shaka tunakuletea taarifa ambazo zimehaririwa kwa viwango vya juu ili kukupa ufahamu wa kinachoendelea sio Kenya peke yake, Afrika Mashariki na ulimwengu kwa ujumla. Tegea taarifa za KTN News kwa taarifa za uaminifu.
Njema, mchezo mpya kushinda hela umewasili. Tazama Utuzwe ni mchezo rahisi na njia haraka ya kushinda hela ukitumia simu yako. Kuwa mmoja wa mamia ya washindi kila siku. Jishindie kuanzia shilingi 20,000. Ni rahisi. Deposit kuanzia shilingi 20 hadi 99 kwa paybill number 145656. Account number KTN2. Shinda sasa hivi. Draws na washindi kila hour. Kumbuka, deposit kuanzia 20 bob hadi 99 bob kwa paybill number 145656. Account number KTN2. Na unaweza kujishindia hadi 1,300.
KTN News. Get the whole story.
Welcome back. Of course, we're still continuing with the conversation on the KCSE 2023 results that were announced yesterday by the CS. We're discussing that in studio. But first, I want us to take a look at one of the story here, which says that JSS, that is Junior Secondary School teachers drawn from the North Rift region, have protested the move by the government to renew their contracts. Speaking in Eldoret, in the county of Uasin Gishu, the teachers who want to be employed on permanent and pensionable terms have called out the government for reneging their earlier agreements. Let's listen in.
We want to reach out to the parents, National Parents Association of Kenya. We want to tell you that we are ready to go back to school, but under one condition. Take us on P&P. We want the permanent and pensionable. Once you give us the P&P, you can even pay us later, because the one for the internship, either way, you paid us after 6 months. So kindly take us into permanent and pensionable. We will fill the forms, we will teach, and we've been teaching, we've been delivering, we'll even deliver even more. Lakini punda amechoka sahizi. Ukituma punda aende sahizi kazini na amechoka, hata deliver. Do not force renewal on us. Do not force extension on us. We want permanent and pensionable. You can pay us in that July that you're speaking of, but take us on permanent and pensionable. We want to reach out to the National Parents Association. We've talked to you. You've promised to come out and help us, but we're not seeing any change. We are not seeing you coming out. You are the parents. Imagine your kids going to school with no teachers. Imagine your kids, you have no idea of what is going in these schools. Go to the ground and see what's happening. We want you to reach out and talk to the government, because you know what you are the people who speak for the kids. Now can you reach out, talk on our behalf? Come and join us, join hands with us, because now we know that we have no union, we are on our own. So we want you to come out, speak for us, because we are only speaking one language, it's confirmation. Without confirmation, we are not speaking any other thing. It's either you confirm us or you confirm us. There's nothing you're going to talk about apart from that. We want to also reach to our president. We respect you because you are our president. Kindly consider us. 17,000, punda amechoka. 17,000 even cannot help me pay for school fees for my kids, still pay for rent, pay for food. In those primary schools, we even pay for food. Again, we pay for food in primary schools. And then we have to clothe ourselves. We can't be wearing the same clothes since we were in BOM. For heaven's sake, 17,000 is not even money with this rising economy. Tafadhali tunaomba Rais, tusaidie. 17,000 is not any money. We are ready to work, and we will work, and we promise to work even more harder. But kindly confirm us on P&P. Thank you.
Power.
We signed the internship contract on February, and our contract elapsed immediately 31st December of 2023. Tutaenda darasani tukiwa na only one condition. Our condition is one: confirm us to P&P, and you will find us in those classes, and you'll see us teaching like you've never taught before. Tafadhali mtu confirm. Listen to our voice, we know, and when we know that you're hearing us, kindly listen to us, because we want that confirmation. Tulimaliza contract and we delivered. We had so many challenges, but we chose to ignore the challenges and put all our strength there. At least we deserve. Again, TSC told us that in the engagement letter that we signed, it's only one time non-renewable. What is the meaning of non-renewable? Why are we bringing it as a renewable? Sun is part of non-renewable source of energy. You cannot renew the sun. So why are you telling us the contract that we signed was non-renewable, and then you're talking of renewing the contract or extension? We'll not indulge with that. We'll not talk of renewal. We're not talking of any extension. If TSC wants to communicate to us, let them come out and communicate to us officially, the way they recruited us officially. Not sending some messages to our head teachers, telling them to tell us to come to school. What is that? Who is being called to job through SMSs and through WhatsApp chats? Let TSC communicate to us on official terms. We want an official circular of them communicating, not them just looking for people like the sub-county directors, telling the sub-county directors to text the HOIs so that the HOIs call us to school. What is that? My HOI personally said that if I don't report to school today by 10, they'll find a replacement. The court order is very clear. TSC should not put anything, should not indulge in any form of renewal of internship or any recruitment of an intern unless the court order has been added on 7th March. Thank you. Comrades power. Comrades power. Undame? Undame? 17,000? 17,000? No confirmation? No confirmation? Thank you.
Right, very, very strong sentiments there from JSS teachers there, specifically in North Rift region. They're talking about, you know, they're claiming that the new contract is 17,000 shillings and it's not enough. I want to get your comments on that. Akelo Misori, let's start with you. She's raised a lot of issues and saying that 17,000 is not enough to cater for anything.
Now, it is unfortunate that it is only JSS teachers working as interns who are paid 20,000, and then it is taxable. And it is reduced to 17,000. Now, the other public institutions engaging interns are paying them 25,000 or 30,000. So I think there is discrimination there. So something should have been there. But I would be asking the teachers of JSS, because there was no commitment in the contract that they are going to be given permanent and pensionable terms. The contract ended on 31st of December. But I share the views of the president of this republic, who came out clear and said that they are giving them an extension and they will consider them for permanent and pensionable terms. That one he said before cameras. It is the press that interviewed him.
Right.
So I take him with that commitment. 1 year, these teachers can still serve under the same terms that they were, with a little improvement, because the economic hard times are here also with them.
Right.
It is true they are suffering. Like those in Nairobi are even worse hit, because they cannot even get fare to school and then get accommodation with 17,000 shillings. That is the money which we pay maids in this country, and these are professionals. So that bit need to be addressed.
Yeah.
So the issue of our intern teachers, I'm asking them to be strategic. That the economy, as at now, everybody is seeing, it may not accommodate their interests, but I think the president has got a plan, and that plan we should give him time.
Right. Okay. Go ahead.
Thank you so much, Sek-Jen, for that angle that you have brought. And as you are contributing, I was tempted to say that if I heard the lady quite well, these are a group of people that simply need somebody to come and speak out to them. Just like what Sek-Jen has said, the president has outlined the plans that he has, even for such a group of people, and even for purposes of running our country. But I would implore if the Teacher Service Commission would take another step, that before we let such sentiments go out into the public, then they need to have some communication strategies that would really be seen like addressing the issues of these people, even if it means having physical meetings with these people, because dialogue is everything. You know?
Talking about even SMSs being sent to
No,
them.
no, for me that would not suffice. That would not really work, because these are people who want to vent, if I may say. They just want to speak their hearts out, and somebody listens and then responds. Let me give a good example. Last year, we saw incidents of teachers having issues during the marking of KCSE 2022. And there were centers that were even closed because of the many issues that the examiners were raising.
Right.
And I remember so well that the CS Machogu, the Belio Kipsang, the PS of Education, it was a battalion, went out and to speak to these people. And as soon as they spoke and told them that these are the plans that we have, yes, we are constrained, but please, we indulge you to bear with us. You know, the moment you just come out and just tell that junior person that indulge with us, accept that we are not doing so well, like Bwana SG has said, that even in terms of the economy, the country, we are ailing quite a lot. And then somebody just comes out to speak live and tell you people that we want you to understand that just give us time and we are going to do it. And please take our word that when we promise to do it, we will do it. So I feel a group of people that simply want an audience. I know somebody in the senior government position could be listening to me right now. These are people who simply want audience. Let them organize some structured dialogue. We have our unionists here. Right. Let them rally together, go and sit with these people, hear them out, and then explain the circumstances under which that renewal has to be effected. Because first they're saying they were never told it would be renewed. It was non-renewable, and then they're taken to, though that contradicts what the SG has said, because the SG says they were never promised anywhere in that contract that it would be direct to permanent and pensionable. Yeah, exactly. So those are the things that need to be aired. They need to tell us, where did you get such information that it would be taken to P&P as soon as your contract for the 1 year elapses. So Fatia, these are a group of people, like many other Kenyans. Yeah. We would feel a lot of hope, like in such difficult times of distress, when our senior government leaders come out to speak to us and tell us, you guys, we are doing something. I'm sorry to digress, to just say a little bit. A lot has been happening in terms of economic agitations, and people agitating that the economy is rising, life is becoming tough and tough. But to add salt to injury, somebody in government comes and says, it's not getting better any soon. What do you want Kenyans to do?
Additionally, something which is very critical with the group, this is not a small number. And they are the ones who are at transition. They are the ones who are in grade 7.
Yes.
In fact, we have got very few teachers who employed on permanent and pensionable who are in the JSS, which is now progressing to grade 8. They are the ones who are making noise. And as Dr. Teria said, nobody has come out to give a circular. If there is supposed to be an extension, we need it to be in your papers. That the government or the Teacher Service Commission has decided to extend the period for internship for another year
due to the following
economic circumstances.
Correct.
And in view of this, we ask you to report to school. But we will be giving you the first priority in the permanent and pensionable terms kind of employment.
Right,
and the government should also not use casualization as a practice of using labor. It is a bad practice in law. It is not accepted and acceptable at the ILO. And therefore, they should come out and not to casualize teaching. We cannot use professionals as casuals. It is not acceptable.
A proper form of communication is definitely needed. I want us to move into something else now.
And just a minute,
because of
please.
time.
Yeah, just a minute. There's a point that SG raised that I feel my memory wouldn't serve me justice if I don't say this. Now, the issue of, quality in our education sector. And this quality, will talk about the issues that are being raised by the likes of that group, teacher employment, all these, the facilities, the remunerations for the teachers. I want to focus on that school down there, the sub-county school. They come from locations where we have Ministry of Education structures, TSC structures, and more specifically the quality assurance. Do we have quality assurance in these places to check that this school does not even have laboratories, and yet they're still allowed to field candidates to sit for the national examinations? These are schools that teachers, you find some of them have not even qualified to be teachers, classroom teachers. Form 4 dropouts, and yet they're in class teaching. Do we really have quality assurance in these areas so that we are able to bring out the real issues that are affecting the education sector, no matter how big they may be or how difficult they may be to address? But once we face the elephant in the room and say, you guys, this is the problem at hand. Let's see how to go through it for the sake of our children, for the sake of the future of this country.
Right. Okay, fantastic. Away from that discussion, I want us to now wrap up and talk about this situation with the KCPE students. Now, 2,000 of them are now moving into Form 1 without sitting for the exams. What are your thoughts on that? Because usually when one sits for the exam, that's when you move to the next level.
I think I don't know what informs this kind of policy. That one I don't understand. It has never been given to public participation, but it has now been directed by the minister. We have heard of late the Ministry of Education coming up with policy directions which are not embedded in law. For example, KCPE certificate is very significant wherever you go at every step, because it is asked for even when you are retiring. When you are retiring, one of the documents you need to present is where is your KCPE, where is your KCSE or KCSE, where is your university, or where is your diploma or certificate of education. These things are very critical. I thought, being the last KCPE, and if the minister wanted, for the first time you could have seen supplementary papers for 2,000 students who would wish, or for 3,000 who would wish to come and do exams, maybe even in February, so that they join Form 1 with that paper. Because which schools are they going to join? And how do you categorize them? That these are kind of our students who do not have KCPE, but we have allowed them in.
Right.
This is something which I don't think is well informed, but it is going to happen because the minister said.
It's going to have a lot of discussion. We have roughly a minute, actually.
Let me just say a word based on what the SG said. If I go by the standard page 5, the words of the KUPPET chairman, Honorable Mboko Milemba, he says, just like what the SG says, that the moment this child is allowed to join secondary school without KCP, first, we don't even know which school they'll be placed in. And what if this student, for one reason or the other, is a very able student in terms of mental, intellect, very bright, and then the circumstances could not allow them to sit for exams at that time, then you place them in some small day school, and yet they would have qualified for the national. So the question is, like the SG is saying, where do such policies come from? And then you'll hear this has been taken to court, the court puts an order, then the government starts complaining that they won't allow courts to derail good plans that they have for. I don't know how good this plan is, Bwana CS. I don't know. Yes,
of course. Right. Thanks for that. I think this is a whole conversation. We need a whole show to just discuss this particular bit, but that's all the time we have. Thank you so much. Akelo Misori is the Secretary General for KUPPET, together with Dr. Edwin Ogada. He's an education analyst and a teacher from Alliance High School. Thank you both for your time.
Thank you. Thank you, Fatia.
Right, that's a wrap for News Center. Thank you for watching. My name is Fatia Mohammed Noor. Yanayo Jiri is up next.